Okay, so we're going to continue with number 24. So we're trying to write an equation to represent the table below. So what I'm going to do is write down the equations that I'm using because it's going to be non-proportional. The reason why is because I don't use the same number to get from my x to my y. So I know I'm going to use this equation. All right, so it's going to be y equals mx plus b, and then just remember what each of those pieces mean. Okay, so m is your change in y divided by your change in x. That's your m. And then your b is your y-intercept, or where it crosses the y-axis, or where your x equals 0. Okay, so I like to find b first because that's the easiest one to find. So my b, or my y-intercept, well, if I have a table, I just look for x to be 0 and see what my y is. Well, my x equals 0 right here. And so my y-intercept is going to be 8 because that's where x equals 0. So I'm going to put 8 where the b is. Okay, so plus 8. I can put my x because that's going to stay in x. Okay, now I'm just looking for my m, right? And I said your m is the change in y divided by your change in x. So you got to figure out your changes in y and your changes in x as you go through the table. So let's do our y's first. So from here to here, it is a change from 8 to 16 of plus 8. From 16 to 24, it is plus 8. From 24 to 32, it is plus 8. 32 to 40, it is plus 8. 40 to 48, it is plus 8. Okay, so we keep on adding 8. So that's my change in y. So let's just go ahead and write this. Change in y over change in x. So my change in y is a positive 8 over, now you're going to do your change in x. So 0 to 4 is plus 4. 4 to 8 is plus 4. 8 to 12 is plus 4. 12 to 16 is plus 4. And then 16 to 20 is plus 4. Okay, so your change in x, which goes on the bottom, is a positive 4. And then all you're going to do is divide. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my m that I'm going to write for my equation is 2. And so put your y equals, and that'll be your answer. So your answer will be y equals 2x plus 8. Okay. This one says write an equation to represent the graph below. Okay. And what you do when you're given a graph already and you want an equation for a non-proportional relationship, and we know it's non-proportional because it does not go to the origin even though it's linear. So let me go ahead and write the y equals mx plus b, which is the equation I use for a non-proportional relationship. So what you do is you take 2 points that both cross or have an intersection. So I see this point here, and I also see this point here, which is my y-intercept, because that's where it crossed my y-axis. So I can go ahead and put my b, which is my y-intercept. It crossed where y was positive 2. So plus 2. Okay. Now, if it was a negative 2, I would just put minus 2, but it's a positive. Okay. So positive 2 is where it crossed the y-axis. So that's my b. Okay. Put my y equals. I can put my x. Now I want to do my m. Okay. Which is the change in y. So let's see how it changed, how far it went up or down. So it went down from this, right? Because we're going to read from left to right. So we're going to start here. Okay, this is my first point. So it went down 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4. It went down 4. So negative represents how much it went down because it went down. So it's negative. And then it went to the right 2, 1, 2 to get to that point. So that's a positive 2. And then you're going to do negative 4 divided by 2, which is going to be negative, right? Because a negative divided by a positive is negative 2. And so it's going to be negative 2. Okay, so your answer for this one will be y equals negative 2x plus 2. Okay. All right, your last one says graph the equation y equals 3x plus 2. Okay, so all you're going to do is plug in your own x's. That's the only way for you to do this problem. So I'm going to plug in, it doesn't matter what numbers I plug in, but I'll do -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into my equation where the x is to get to my y. Okay, so for example, I'm going to use that equation. So y equals 3, and where the x is, I'm going to plug in my first x. So -2. Okay, and then they have +2, so I got to make sure I have that. And then you just solve it. Y equals 3 times -2 is -6, and then +2. So y equals -6 plus 2, which is -4. So your y for this one, -2, is going to be -4. And you would do that for all of them. Okay, so just so I'll do another one just so you can see. Y equals the same equation. So 3, where the x is, I'm going to put in my next x, -1, and then +2. So then you would just go ahead and solve. So y equals 3 times -1 is -3 and +2. So y equals -3 plus 2. Make sure you pay attention to your negatives. -3 plus 2 is -1. Okay, so I'll put -1 where x is -1. And so you would just do that for all of them. If you do that, you will get 2, 5, 8, and then you're just going to plot these points on the graph. Okay, so -2, so start the origin, you go to the left 2, that's what negative means, 1, 2, and then you will go down 4 for your y, so 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, because it was negative. Plot your next point, so start the origin, -1, and then -1. Okay, then you would do 0, 2, so that means you don't move left or right, but you just go up 2 because your y is 2. 1, 2. Then 1, 5, so to the right 1, and then up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to the right 2, and then up 8. So start the origin, go to the right 2, 1, 2, up 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you just connect your line and make sure you understand that it'll keep going. So we're going to make it an arrow. Okay, so we understand it keeps going. All right. If you have any questions, I have tutoring today at 3:45 on Zoom. Okay.